I knew that we only had about $11 in our account, and I had to make sure that we had enough food to get us through. I spent about $9 in 3 different transactions. Something went through our account that we had forgotten about, and so our account was already in overdraft. We were charged $30 each overdraft. We didn't have much money to begin with in the account, and I was being so careful, and yet we got socked with almost $100 in overdraft fees.
Let's start with a very basic question. What the hell are junk fees?
Sometimes it's called a convenience fee. Sometimes it's called a service charge. In banking, we hear about all sorts of these junk fees. You know, there is inflation right now. And on top of that, people are trying to think about how do they make their budgets work and how do they eliminate things. And they shouldn't have to eliminate necessities like food and rent, but they do want to eliminate junk fees from their life where they don't even feel like they're getting anything for it. And for many people, it's absolutely insulting.
It's not just, oh, it's $30, I can't go out to eat. We don't go out to eat. That money is, can I buy food for my daughter? When we get that overdraft fee and we suddenly see that we have $90 in fees or even $30 in fees, it just makes my stomach plummet and I just get so scared.
When my daughter was in middle school, she got this $100 Visa gift card from good friends, neighbors, because she took care of their cat for like 2 weeks while they were out of town. Well, she's a middle school kid. A couple years go by, she's a high school kid. She doesn't need $100. And then at some point, you know, she needed to buy something. I thought, oh good, we'll use this gift card. Well, I go and look and, you know, it gets declined. Well, why is that? Because there was a $2 a month inactivity fee after the first year. So I thought, this can't be right. So I log on to the information site that they have, and sure enough, it's worth $0.
A recent study that the CFPB published showed that banks charged about $15 billion in just overdraft fees and NSF fees alone. And that's not counting all the other types of fees that we see in banking. So this is big money. There are a lot of junk fees out there in our economy, but so many of them are ones where you don't even get a service for paying it, or it didn't even cost a company anything to provide it to you.
They're preying on the people who least can afford it.
About 10% of consumers pay about 90% of the overdraft fees out there.
Thankfully, I'm comfortable enough that I could suffer the loss. But if I were a person who needed to use that money, it would have been far better to have it available. If I needed to count on something being there, I shouldn't be shocked when I go to use it and get told, you know, you don't have anything. It's like finding out that somebody wiped out your bank account.
It hits those who are most on the margins hardest. But when these fees become a core part of the business model, it's leading many Americans to think, are we just all powerless? One of the things that we do here at the CFPB is we collect consumer complaints, and they don't just go into a black box. We help people get answers from their financial company or bank, and we have helped people get millions and millions and millions of dollars in refunds. We have some rulemaking tools. We have enforcement powers when it comes to illegal fees. And we also have the ability to visit and inspect banks and other financial institutions for what they're up to.
The banks, if you look at their quarterly earnings, they don't need them. They are simply milking their customers. They are getting away with this because nobody has ever reined them in. They need to be reined in, and somebody needs to stand up for consumers and for regular people who do not have $1 million salaries and huge investments.